So back when Robert began this company, the whole intent of his beginning the company is he was helping Laura, as you heard her story, with a whole list of a myriad of symptoms and troubles she was experiencing. And he utilized gut health therapy to heal those issues. So good health begins in the gut. The gut is the body's second brain. It controls every organ, every function of the body. It is the body's second brain because it produces more serotonin, which is what we call a neurotransmitter, the happy chemical, more so than the brain does. So that makes the gut very important. I would guesstimate that 95% of the population of this country suffer from what is called leaky gut syndrome, leaky gut. And of those 95%, I would say that the 95% experience also at least 95% of those people with leaky gut are experiencing a majority of health problems because leaky gut leads to the majority of health problems. So let's discuss leaky gut for a moment. So leaky gut is caused from three things. It is caused by stress. It is caused by the standard American diet. And it is caused by processed foods, the antibiotics, all types of what we call disruptors of the normal level of good flora, which there are at least 37 billion good bacteria, we call probiotics, in the gut at any given time. There are some more good bacteria in the body than there are cells in the body. That's how important the good bacteria, the probiotic bacteria, are. But the problem is, because of those factors, the gut wall lining gets irritated and it gets damaged. And it gets so damaged that the waste products, which are supposed to leave the gut, enter into the gut, and the good nutrition that is supposed to enter the gut leaves the gut. So that gut becomes what's called hyperpermeable. It becomes allows those things to enter in and out of it, which it shouldn't be normally. So that when this happens, this imbalance begins to happen so that the overgrowth of good bacteria that we have already established in the gut, as we call the gut microbiome, becomes disrupted by the issue of the gut wall lining being damaged, and there begins to be an overgrowth of yeast and fungus and virus and parasite and bacteria. This is the number one reason for all illness, are those things that I just mentioned. And because the gut wall lining gets disturbed, gets damaged, holes start forming in the gut wall lining, which is thin to begin with. And through those holes passes an overgrowth. Like I said, a virus, fungus, parasite, yeast, and bacteria through the gut wall lining into the bloodstream. And now that overgrowth is circulating through your body and it's attacking the body. It's inflaming the body. It starts to inflame the gut to begin with. Most times, which I see all day long, it attacks the thyroid, which is what we call thyroiditis Hashimoto's. It causes autoimmune disease, which is an epidemic. It causes a whole bunch of more things. So I'm going to give you a list of some of the things. For example, some of the things that we're going to find with the permeability of the damage to the gut, the leaky gut, are problems including food and seasonal allergies, tiredness, mental fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome, depression, mood changes, mood swings, increase in chronic stress, migraines, increased inflamed bowel, all the gastrointestinal issues, asthma, lupus, which is an autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease, MS, skin conditions of all kinds, eczema, scleroderma, cancer, and heart issues. I've named the top two killers just right there of cancer and heart disease, all stemming from leaky gut. So you will now realize that the gut health triad is critical to your health. It is the foundation. The gut is the foundation of your health. So in describing the gut health triad, which Robert, the first product that Robert brought into the company to begin his quest to affect the gut and heal the gut was the Biome IX, ADK. Biome IX is a very, very unique formulation because it contains butyric acid, 3 molecules of butyric acid in each gelatin cap. And the butyric acid acts to, first of all, it causes the wall of the gut to tighten, as like I said, that gut wall gets damaged, the butyric acid begins to heal and tighten the gut wall, and it reduces the inflammation in the gut wall, and it stimulates the growth of bacteria, of good bacteria, versus the bad bacteria. So the butyric acid, when you take those little gel pearls, as we call them, which a recommended dose of those to start with is two a day, you're beginning to get the major component of the gut wall is butyric acid, and you're building up the component of the gut wall, and the fiber-rich foods that you eat benefit that butyric acid. It feeds it. So you begin to replenish the components, you begin to rebuild the gut wall lining, you start to initiate the gut wall lining repair with the Biome IX. And it also has the vitamins A, D, and K in it, which replenish the gut wall, because that in and of itself is made of A, D, and K are very important components to that gut wall. So that is the first part of the gut health triad, is the Biome IX, ADK. The second component of the gut wall triad is the cell tides. And the nucleotide nutrition I brought to Robert back in 2020, when he was just getting started with the Biome IX, to find a companion for that, and a missing piece to the puzzle for the health of the gut wall. The nucleotides work much like the biome, because nucleotides help they help on many levels. I'm going to start with the gut wall, because they start to help as the butyric acid is rebuilding that lining of the gut wall and thickening the gut wall lining and repairing the damage to the gut wall lining. The nucleotides are also aiding and contributing to that rebuilding. They're thickening the gut wall lining. They, like the butyric acid, are also converting the bad bacteria to good bacteria. They increase the levels of the good bacteria, which you've got to have. There are so many strains of good bacteria in the gut wall. Like I said, the gut wall has 37 billion. It's been estimated at 37 billion. So it's rebuilding, it's thickening, it's repairing. The nucleotides are also increasing the thickness and healing and repairing of the villi. The villi are the hair-like projections that help you digest and absorb and assimilate your food. And that's a real important part of your whole gastrointestinal system, because as we age, our villi get damaged. So the nucleotides help to rebuild the villi, increase the surface area of the villi. That's all very important to digestion of the digestive process. The nucleotides, though, also play a very significant role to the immune system. It's been determined that nucleotides are one of the most important nutritional components you'll ever find to consume, because the nucleotides are the genetic material of our body. They provide the genetic material, which is why we have life to begin with in our body. But the nucleotides are recharging the immune system significantly. You need the nucleotides to rebuild and repair every organ known in the body, every tissue. The nucleotides have to be there to repair and rebuild every imaginable part of the body. So there's always a need for, a high level. We couldn't even put a number on the number of nucleotides you need by the body to heal, repair, and rebuild it constantly. So there's a need for an exogenous form of nucleotides, which you're having through the cell ties and recently DNA attrition. The DNA attrition was established to make the nucleotides in a capsule form. And we'll talk about dosing sometime during this program of how you should be dosing with those items. So the nucleotides supercharge the immune system. They activate the killer cells of the body. The killer cells are the cells that kill the cancerous growths and tumors, and our bodies actually make that, but as we age, they make less and less. So as you take in the cell ties, DNA attrition, you're constantly rebuilding, replenishing the nucleotides that you need, the levels that you need. The nucleotides reduce inflammation. The nucleotides play a role in cancer. The nucleotides can heal diabetic neuropathy or any kind of neuropathy. I've been using these nucleotides. I've been researching them for the last 20 years. I use them. I've seen so many applications for these nucleotides for every imaginable health challenge, because the nucleotides essentially rebuild the tissue and heal the body, and that is why they're so essential, and that's why they're involved in all the different health challenges imaginable. In addition to the fact that they heal the gut health, they repair the gut, and they're critical to use with the BioMax. And recommended dose to start with those is maintenance dose is 1 scoopful a day if you're taking the cell tides, and if you're taking the DNA attrition, you should be taking at least 2 capsules a day. The third part of this puzzle for the leaky gut is the fact that, as I said, because you have fungus and yeast and bacteria and parasite and virus, which creates inflammation throughout the body, you have to reduce the inflammation. So the neutralize is the third part of the gut health triad to take while you're healing and repairing and rebuilding the gut health wall with the BioMax ADK and the cell ties. You want to reduce the inflammation as well that's in the gut throughout the body, and you take the neutralize. For that neutralize components, so like xanthol cumol is a very powerful natural anti-inflammatory, one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories out there. It is the foundation of anti-inflammatories, and the neutralize has curcumin as well in it, and curcumin as well is known as a very powerful natural anti-inflammatory effect, and shallot as well is anti-inflammatory. So all the components of neutralize are anti-inflammatories, and that product I recommend you take at least, well, optimally 2 a day is good to take with that. So I know I'm giving just a general overview of the gut health tri products, but the point I want to make is to connect this to the Curbex, which we've recently added in for the weight losses. As you remember, the Curbex the two master hormones that are made, GLP-1 and PYY, have to penetrate that gut wall to get into the gut. So the better the gut wall, the better the condition of the gut wall lining, the better the penetration, the better the effectiveness of the hormones, those master hormones. So Curbex can be even much more effective for you folks by improving the gut wall, the lining. So you need to be taking the gut health triad as a foundation so that the Curbex will be much more effective. Not to mention the fact that as I covered so many health applications for this gut health triad, you could probably see and benefit, or you're seeing now that you've got all these things you can be helping if you're suffering with. And I'm sure I named something, at least one thing that you all suffer from, which are common issues that we have in the population of the United States. So the gut health triad, just by virtue of the fact that it's healing and repairing the gut wall and correcting the leaky gut, which is the foundation and basis of, like I said, at least 60 to 70% of the health conditions, is so critical. So anyway, I wanted to make up just a little bit of coverage on things, Dr. Steve.
No, that was that was great. As everybody can see, Dr. Epitropolous is a wealth of knowledge and an expert in this field. He's been dealing with the product and patients for so long and healing so many people. So I would insist that everyone take advantage of the information that he's giving and understand it. If you don't, just ask questions.
I remember, I think we were talking, when was it, last Wellness Wednesdays, a couple people referred to prostate issues that they were having, and they were thinking that maybe they were, at the time we were discussing Curbix, but actually the benefit they were getting, and I'm going to guess that both of them must be on the gut health triad, because as you could tell from what I described tonight, I mean, any one or more of those three products would benefit, because especially the nucleotides are benefiting the immune system. Of course, the gut wall lining being healed by the biomics and nucleotides is affecting the inflammation and reduces the like I said, inflammation, improving the immune system. That would benefit prostate issues.
Yes. So there was a question, Dr. Epitropolous, and someone just got on the product, Curbex, but
Yes.
they asked, hey, well, should I stop taking Curbex and repair my gut first? But my question is, could we do both at the same time? I would not stop taking the Curbex.
I absolutely agree. You want to there's no gut health. Leaky gut is a journey. It's a process to heal a leaky gut. It could take minimum of 12 to 16 months, as all health challenges take that amount of time for healing and repairing and rebuilding. Remember, these products are working on a cellular level, and it's because of that it takes time for them to heal. But by all means, you need to be on the gut health triad, started as soon as possible, and then you can also be on the Curbix at the same time.
Yes.
So, Dr. Steve, we have let's talk to Bob Dick real fast. I'm going to ask Bob to unmute because I'm curious, since he's new in the nucleogenics products, and I know that he's had an incredible outcome with Curbix. But Bob, are you around?
Yeah, I am.
Well, so tell us a little bit about your experience specific to the gut health.
So, because Curbix didn't launch until February, I was already on the gut health. So what I noticed with the gut health, and I am that one of those guys you probably heard talking about the prostate issues, because it was me and another guy that were actually talking about that night when we talked about the Curbix. The inflammation, like, you know, the inflammation, the energy difference, and I will tell you, gosh, probably after about the first week. And just speaking truthfully here, when you have a bowel movement like you were 18 years old, versus the other kinds when you're 56 years old, was huge. I mean, I never felt so skinny and unbloated and relieved. Um, and like I said, the prostate issue, going to the bathroom 15, 16 times a night. You talk about sleep deprivation. I had it because, I work 11 hours a day. I'm at work at 6 in the morning and I don't get out till 5 in the afternoon. If I get out at 5, not counting my drive time before and after. And, I also do outside sales, and I can't tell you how many times before taking the biome, I was literally, I'd have to route myself to make sure there was a bathroom pit stop everywhere I went, because even at work, I'd have to go 12 times a day at work. Now, I go once or twice at night, and I might go 4 or 5 times in the afternoon because I'm up, I'm drinking water and my sugar-free tea and those type things. So, but just to punch on the Curbix, I think the two together exponentiate results. And I say that because I hear the testimonies of the Curbix, and it's, hey, I lost 2 pounds a week or 3 pounds a week, and I've dropped 14 pounds. Tomorrow's my weigh-in, but I think the biome, anybody who's not on a biome and is on the Curbix, needs to take the biome and the Curbix together. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you for that, Bob. Hey, so Dr. E, I'm curious, what in this leaky gut syndrome, I'm making an assumption that Bob Dick had, like all of us, some gut health challenges. If he's going to the bathroom 10 to 12 times a day, what's that about?
Well, that's because his prostate is inflamed, first of all, and prostate that's inflamed swells, and that's a very common problem for most men as they get older, even younger men. So the swelling of the prostate is going to create from the inflammation. So the biome and the nucleotides, and especially the neutralizer, all three of them are reducing inflammation that's in the gut and as well as in the prostate in his case. And that reduction of inflammation will reduce the swelling. And then as a result, this frequency of urination is going to go down for sure. I mean, inflammation is the source and cause of all illness. And anything, especially with what we have with the gut health triad, just by virtue of the fact that it's restoring the gut wall lining, and it's having a significant impact on inflammation, all three of those products in the triad. So, it's a win-win for sure on any health problem. I mean, just the fact that the gut health is going to regulate your hormones as a result of healing, and then the hormones regulate sleep. The fact that the gut is the body's second brain that produces, like I said earlier, the neurotransmitter, especially serotonin. As we get older, our serotonin levels drop off, and that's why the number one complaint of a person as they age is they can't sleep. They can't fall asleep. They can't stay asleep because the serotonin levels are dropping off. But as you can see, with the gut health getting better, the serotonin levels will start to get upwards again, and the person starts to sleep better, and their hormones become in balance. Besides the serotonin being increased in production, their hormones get in balance for sure. So it's really a nice situation for
Dr. E, what percentage of people would you say come into your practice where people have leaky gut?
almost 98%.
And
I mean, just
That was a
assume,
rhetorical question.
I know it was. It was a purposeful rhetorical question because to his point, I people come in with so many disorders and chronic pain, and they don't understand that that chronic pain is being driven by the inflammation that's being caused by their gut disrepair or dysbiosis. And that's largely misunderstood throughout the world and in the medical community. But, you know, that's where we're at.
and
Okay.
there are more and more studies being done. I saw one a couple of days ago discussing the implication of gut health and mental health. Very significant connection between those two. And, you know, the mental health pharmaceuticals are significantly prescribed. And just by a person getting on the gut health triad with depression, they're going to improve their depression, they're going to get happier, they're going to sleep better. Just in the mental health department, they're going to see changes because they're taking the gut health triad, they're improving their leaky gut.
Yep. Okay, Don Edwards, I know I'm sitting so
Yes,
you
sir.
can be yourself. I know Don has been on the triad for like I think over 4 years. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you were dealing with before the triad and how the triad changed your life?
Well, in January of 2021, I collapsed due to being sepsis and jaundice. I had major gallbladder issues, gallstones everywhere, and I'm supposed to be dead. And my gallbladder was removed, and I met y'all in September of 2021. And it was phenomenal to hear Laura's story and to know I was a very sick woman. I was thinner. I had dropped because of my gallbladder issues, and they told me I was type 2 diabetic. And my doctor, who is here in St. Louis, famous doctor that most of y'all probably know, who also has an E as a last name, first name. Anyway, he helped me with that and brought me to you guys. And I started on the triad December 15th of 22 or 21, sorry, 21. And I remember that because I got my order on the 9th. And so I was very excited to start using it consistently. And by Easter, my gut had healed. And I don't use that word very well. Often I just say my gut got fixed. And in February, a lot of my friends who know I'm single were just like, "Are you dating? What's going on with you? You know, you're like glowing." And it took me a while to figure out what they were talking about. And my cells inside were so happy that I was taking care of them. And so my largest organ on my body was showing that by glowing. And the tributyrin and the butyrate that's in the biome, that makes such a significant impact. I doubled up on the product at the beginning, just so that that healing process could get through faster. And you know, for those that are talking about money on this, I am the big thing on money. I have not paid for my product since February of 22 because my customers have seen the changes in me and wanted that change for themselves. And I have had enough customers on that, so that paid for all my products since then. And so this is a great thing for business to make money, but also to heal your systems. And it's all natural. The cell tides are fantastic. It's the in the DNA. It's all natural. And I'm a story person, so I always say that the butyrate is like the Fix-A-Flat pumps that up and pumps up the microvilli in our small intestines. So, you know, if you remember some of those cute little trigger words, if you will, it'll really help you when you're talking to folks about the good stuff that is happening to your body. And it is a lifestyle. And there's someone that asked, you know, when would I be off of it? Well, you stop taking this when you stop breathing.
Okay.
You stay on it for life.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I want to, before Dr. Steve,
Yes.
I was wondering, you know, just because I think, you know, it's important, especially for a lot of the new people here, to hear some of the obviously significant positive results. I want to go to Patty Daigle. She wasn't expecting me to call her name, but I know she's listening to me. But Patty, if you want to unmute, I know that, you know, you've also been not just on the gut health products, but you're an author related to gut health and DNA, and maybe you want to share a little bit about your journey with these products.
My goodness. Hello, everyone. No, I wasn't expecting this. But 5 years ago, I got deathly ill. My whole immune system was shutting down. I lost 30 pounds in 6 months and went to 3 different doctors who couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So a friend of mine who was doing epigenetic testing ran the testing on me. She said, let's figure out what the root of the problem is. And guys, your DNA will get to the root of what your problems are. So with that epigenetic test, I had to have some additional testing done. Found that I was on heavy metal overload, full of parasites, Epstein-Barr, Candida, and because of vaccine damage, my pancreas was shutting down. I became a type 1 diabetic. Because well, I did a 4-month detox to get rid of the parasites and stuff. But ever since then, I have been on this nutrition, gut health, and I can tell you, I'm going to be 67 years old in April, and I feel better now than I have in many, many, many years. And because of my journey, I did write a book. It's called The DNA Advantage. It's out on Amazon and Kindle and Audible. But it tells a little bit about my journey, and chapter 11 breaks down if you have specific gene mutations, which you learn when you take your DNA test, how to feed them, how to live a different lifestyle, how to exercise, just things you need to change. Here's an analogy. If you have a gasoline vehicle and by accident somebody goes and puts diesel in it, what's going to happen to the function of that vehicle? You're going to stop working. Well, that's what happened. That's what's happening to our bodies. We're getting so much junk put into our bodies that's not meant to be there and not maintaining our DNA properly, that we're shutting down. We're causing all these different immune system issues. So that's it. I won't ever go a day without my nutrition, my biome, my neutralize, and the cell tides. They're all a daily part of my life.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Patty. Dr. Steve, back to you.
So is there anyone else that would like to share? But I don't know how you can follow Patty on that one. That was awesome, Patty. I'm happy to see that your life has changed in such a positive way. Would anyone else like to share?
You know, Dr. Steve, I wanted to mention a couple other things going along with Patty's great testimony. The nucleotides significantly help to stabilize blood sugar. Blood sugar is critical to every function of the body, and that's why diabetes or pre-type 2 diabetes can be devastating to the body because it affects every system of the body. So I've had so many breakthroughs with so many patients with pre-type 2 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, with the help of the nucleotides, seeing them stabilize their blood sugar by them being on the Biome-X and the nucleotides, and having the neutralize also to help heal their leaky gut, which contributes to the stabilization of the blood sugar. It's really, I mean, her story is one of thousands and thousands of stories that we have seen through the years, as we have been utilizing the gut health triad. It's so, if you folks realize what you've got at your fingertips, these three products are probably the most unique combination of three products that I've ever seen in my 40 years of practice. And I've been utilizing, my practice is what's called a functional medicine practice. I use nutritional therapy, it's nutritional therapy based. I've been doing this, like I said, for 40 years, and I've seen every imaginable. I utilize so many, used to utilize so many products out there, and my products are now I've narrowed down to maybe a handful of maybe three companies whose product I use. But these three products are so unique in their application and their effectiveness. Like I said, I have never seen the uniqueness of these three products in a combination, if you will. And now with the addition of the Curbex, which adds to another unique product formulation. So you guys have got you've got a real significant thing going on, and you'll realize it more and more as you see and help more and more people in your outreach. And you want to get as many out, you want to reach out to as many people as possible, because we want to minister to as many as possible, because we live in a very sick nation right now. I mean, I don't know what your political sway is, but Robert F. Kennedy, who now heads up the HHS, is going to make some significant contributions, because his mentality is in natural medicine and it's about natural healing. That's where he's based. And because these products are all about natural healing, and you're going to help a lot of people in the time that you're going to be reaching out to as many as possible. So keep pushing it, these products.
Very cool.
So,
Mark Berger
yes.
said he wants to share. Mr. Berger, gotta unmute yourself.
Mark, are you there?
He just has to unmute himself.
Now.
There you are.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Mine's more of a common sense kind of thing. So most people, and I've been on this product for just a short period of time, and most people talk about, well, how does it taste, right? And nobody ever talks about that stuff, right? So what I did is Curvix, again, like Bob's story, wasn't around. So the first thing that I ordered was a coffee, and then I ordered the energy drinks, which I just found out that the best tasting thing is energy drinks with the gut health. I got the acai flavor. It's amazing. But the big thing here, guys, is, most people can't see inside their gut, so they have no idea. But when the doctor says 98%, literally my head was blown, and I said, I got to get this product. So I ordered it right away. And last night I was actually searching around. So those you don't know, bundling saves you a lot of money. It was $420 for bundling. That's the retail, if you will. If you bundled it, ended up being like less than $300. So I'm blown away by the products itself. The energy level, I could tell right away as far as the gut health. I like Bob, with the issues he was having. But I don't come on here just to talk. I'm just excited that you guys are developing some amazing products for us. I'm new to the nutrition side. I was on the travel side, but I'm just saying, I'm hearing all these stories and these testimonies. You can't make this stuff up. And so I appreciate everybody's, involvement and input. I just want to say that the product tastes great. For me, it's about how it tastes, and the results will come. But thank you so much for allowing me to get on here for just a second and just talk about taste alone. And I also mix the gut health with my coffee. So not only am I jacked up on an energy drink, but I'm also jacked up on the coffee, which tastes amazing. So I basically drink acai coffee every single morning, and it's amazing. Thank you.
You mix acai cell tides with red?
Yes, I do. It's amazing.
Wow. I'm gonna try that one. I put the cell tides chocolate in my coffee, which is incredible, but I might have to try the acai. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
All right, well, so we're at 45 minutes, Dr. Steve and Dr. Michael.
So I think now that we've talked about the gut health, maybe we could talk a little more about the Curbex, so we could tie it all together for the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Your show, sir.
So, you all know Dr. Epitropolous has talked in length about the Curbex, but I'm sure some of you are on the call tonight where he hasn't. So he's talked about how, and we know with Curbex, it's a natural product. It's not a synthetic GLP-1. It's allowing our body through the natural products to support our body to produce the GLP-1s that we're supposed to in our gut. And again, gut health is very important. And of course, when we take the Curbex and our gut is doing very well, we'll do better. That's not to say that you shouldn't take both together, because you should. So we all know, or we all should know, that when our body is being supported with natural products like the Curbex has, and we're producing the things in our body that we're supposed to instead of replacing them, it's significantly healthier for us. Dr. E, would you agree?
Absolutely, Dr. Steve. It's really very important. So the Curbex, as you said, Dr. Steve, is I mentioned earlier with the leaky gut, the membrane of the gut wall lining has to be in as good a health as possible to help the GLP-1 hormone and PYY to penetrate it, to get into the gut. And that's why gut health is so critical for the Curbex to be as effective as possible. Because just the fact that the Curbex, a GLP-1, is being produced at a very high level, so is the PYY, so that the high levels of those both being produced are lasting longer, and your appetite is being controlled. I think that it's been determined through the studies on the GLP-1 and PYY studies on the product. For every 2 capsules you take, it's 6 to 7 hours of control of appetite and cravings, because of the levels of the GLP-1 and PYY being produced, being activated by the body. And again, if your leaky gut is in good shape, that is going to stay as long as during those lengthy times, the appetite's being suppressed and the cravings reduced.
I think it's important to bring to light also that when we're losing the weight with the Curbex, the natural product, we're not getting the breakdown or the cannibalization of the muscle. And remember, we have different types of muscle in our body, cardiac muscle being one of them. So some of the things that we're seeing with the synthetics is damage to the cardiac muscle, the heart. And I don't know about anybody else, but without a heart, we're dead. If that heart's not functioning and it's damaged, we're in big trouble. But it's also affecting other organs as well. So, and it'll affect the vascular system, because the vascular system has muscle in it as well. So those products to me, and I'm sure if anybody's watching TV, you've seen just a huge influx of the ads for all these GLP-1s. And then, of course, they're putting chemicals in there that curb the side effects of the nausea, the vomiting, the different side effects, the headaches. So, which is a recipe for disaster. So what we have here is a huge gift. And so it brings to mind a saying that we have in chiropractic that one of our chiropractic fathers had said. And he said, we never know how far reaching something we may think, say, or do today, how it will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. It is better to light one candle than to curse the darkness. Get the big idea and all else follows. This is the big idea. Our health is disease is spiraling out of control in our country, and it's starting to in the rest of the world. It's because of the chemicals, the bad stuff in the foods. And to Dr. E's point, RFK Jr., he's an advocate for healthier products, less chemicals. It'll bring disease process down in our country. But in the meantime, we have to take that action, the action steps to repair ourselves so that we can help others. And that's the products that we have here that we've been so fortunate to have put together by Dr. E and Robert. So, I mean, I don't know what else I could say to impress upon anyone how important that this is.
I just noticed we have Coach Rob DeBoer. He just made a comment, but Rob, I just asked you to unmute. I know you like what he just said. I think it's important. You might want to share, since you've been coaching people for so long, you know, what do you have people doing previously before us all coming together? You know, how are you helping people, or have you been helping people with their gut health journey, and how has that factored into the body comp stuff that you train people on?
Hey, can you hear me, Robert?
Yep, loud and
There
clear.
it is.
Yeah. I'm going to just read what I wrote. And y'all, I listen to a lot of experts. I'm not the expert. I'm not the science guy. We try to make science simple and apply it to people. We let the experts be the experts. And I've just been sitting here taking notes. But I'm going to read what you said, Dr. Steve. I don't know if this is exactly, so I'm paraphrasing. I just said, this is a profound point. Supporting and endorsing natural production versus replacing with unnatural synthetics. Like, we're doing the opposite of what pharma does. Like, we're doing the opposite of what pharma does. That's the message here. And look, we don't mistake perfect for practical. I'd rather people, you know, eat real food. Real food doesn't have ingredients. It is the ingredient. A potato is a potato. An egg's an egg. The problem is when you get into the processed, packaged, preserved products that are available. And, you know, people always ask, why does it cost more to eat healthy? Well, the better question is, why is it so cheap to eat unhealthy? And that's kind of the crusade we're on. When you listen to these two men, and Robert, your vision, but these guys kind of bringing the science, it just helps me realize we're at the right place at the right time with what's happening in the US with government changes and dissecting and looking. I'm here in Canada, and, you know, I picked up a box of Fruit Loops, and I looked, they don't have synthetic flavors or synthetic colors. They don't have red dye 9 or whatever it is. And so it's refreshing to be a part of a company that is on the front end of where things are going. That's just a fact. But having people that speak because they're passionate about that. So I'm here. I'm humbled to be a part of it. And I'm just here to learn, quite honestly, from these two and you, Robert, and then tie it all together and kind of put people on a path that they feel like they can do. That's what I'll hold to. The only diet that's going to work for everybody that's listening is the one they'll do. And it's our jobs as, you know, the company to help figure that out for you. I'll throw it back to you.
Thanks, Coach. So, Dr. Steve, Dr. Mike, yeah, I'm gonna leave with one kind of parting statement, then you guys can close out. But if you guys, like Coach Rob just mentioned, if you find value in the last hour with our doctors and these stories and testimonials, this is the place that you want to invite your friends, family, coworkers, neighbors into this group and on these Wealthy Wednesdays every Wednesday night, because, well, frankly, it's free, incredible knowledge and information. And, you know, if you really want to help people in their health and wellness journey that we call Wealthy, this is the place to invite them to. So every Wednesday night, Wealthy Wednesdays, and of course, all the other wealthy aspects that we have going on. Dr. Steve, back to you.
Well, I think at this point in time, I think we've covered all the information. I just want to know if anyone has any questions about what we've gone over. I would take the time to open up the floor now to ask the questions. So just throw it in the chat if you need to, and we'll answer the questions while we have a few more minutes left.
Dr. Steve, I just wanted to mention one other application of one of the gut health products, and that is the nucleotides. The cell tides, you can make a paste. Years ago, when I started to research the nucleotides, we found that, they were studied for dogs and animals of all kinds. The nucleotides, the first studies were done on animals. And we had created a paste that the vets would use for healing all kinds of skin wounds. And we would use it also on our patients for healing wounds of all kinds. So you can actually take the cell ties, folks, and make a paste from it. If you've got a skin issue, and put the paste on wherever the skin irritation is. You can also take the DNA-trition and open the capsule and pour the powder and mix it into water and make a paste of that. So that is one of many applications for the nucleotides. And if you want more specific information, if you have a pet that you need, you're having an issue with, a health challenge, I can tell you dosing with the cell ties or the DNA-trition, you can contact me. But like I said, the nucleotides can be used for all kinds of skin issues because they work from the inside, and the skin is the largest organ of the body. And like I said, and you can give it to animals as well for all types of health challenges.
Well, remember, animals, Big Pharma studies on animals, and we take what Big Pharma, or lots of people take what Big Pharma puts out after getting approved. But, we're all in the animal kingdom, so there's no reason why it shouldn't work on animals as well as human beings. And I have to tell you, I can't tell you how excited I am to be able to be giving this information, have Dr. Epitropolous on giving this information to help change people's lives. We change one person at a time, and that will continue to grow. Rob DeBora, love what you said. Absolutely. It's important to follow Rob in what he talks about when we're on the Curbex and on the products, so that we can do the right things and learn healthier habits and be doing better things. This makes the products work even better. So, I'm good. Does anyone have any questions? I saw that. Does that go for your scalp as well? Yes, it goes for your scalp. Underneath this, your scalp is skin underneath that hair.